Jacob, obviously there's not always a pat on the back that follows when things are going swimmingly on special teams, but when the inverse is true, that the scrutiny can be severe. Just how do you reflect on this last game and just those two really game-altering plays on special teams?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is it's a great reminder for all of us, myself included, right? Like, fourth down, you can't afford, right, to have any type of mental lapse. You can't let up ever. Like we talk about dominating fourth down, which that's what we've done. But unfortunately, there's two situations, right, that negatively impacted the game. But to me, the thing I love about coaching this team is you come in here on Sunday and everybody's locked in, guys are learning from it. Everybody's picking up the guys that had the issues, and encouraging them. And that's ultimately what this is all about, because it's all about how we respond. And you look at how we've prepared this week; it's been great so far. So I think we're doing things the right way moving forward.
What did you work on with Malachi and then dropped in the red zone early in the game? I mean, first thing you started with the passes. I mean, what did you work on?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just securing the catch. Like he it's like everybody, right? Like you get so excited, like you can taste that end zone, you can smell it, and ultimately, like he just picked his eyes up a little bit early. You see it on film, so it's just a constant reminder. Whether we're in routes on air, practice, pre-practice, or we're catching tennis balls, it's always securing it to the tuck right there. He's so dang dynamic with the ball in his hands. Like you saw it later on in the game. Like he's always making the first guy miss, dragging people. It's like that's your special ability, but you can't do any of that without the ball in your hands. So you got to secure that catch.
Jake Overman as the clear starter, and then now it's listed as all three of them in the depth chart. I'm curious what led to that change.
I just think a testament to Justin and a testament to Malachi and really Jake too. Like all those guys are pushing each other every single week. We're competitive on the field, but it's competitive in the meeting room as well. And the best part is it's all those guys. Like there's never anything that they're trying to get another guy and maybe keep a nugget from them. Like they're always pouring into each other. So ultimately that's what has led to them really having the right to all play a decent amount.
Trey misses that first kick of West Virginia. Mm-hmm. What allows him to just go through that and continue forward?
Yeah, I think one, it's who he is as a person. Like he lives in the moment. We talk about that in our room all the time, like throughout the summer. And you got to train that response, right? Like if you miss a kick in practice, like you got to train how you're going to respond. You can't go over there and be like, oh, well, on game day I wouldn't respond that way. Like no, how you practice how you're going to respond. And so that's who he is all the time. Like he's very even keeled. And what a great job by him responding in a hostile environment, in a big game with must-need field goals too, right? And so I think that's just who he is. And we do a good job as a specialist group. Those older guys, like Caleb Junko's obviously been through a lot in his career, so he's able to help him. I know he's talked with Ben, so he's got all kinds of good people in his ears.
The fact that Butkowski has hit some field goals from distance at this point through 4 games, I think as long as 46 now.
That's right.
Has that sample size do you feel more confident in him now that you've seen that from him, as opposed to maybe just starting out and not exactly knowing what you were going to get?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I told you that first game, sending a 17 or 18-year-old guy out there to say like, oh yeah, he's going to make every single one. But I was always really confident in Trey. Like that was one thing I loved about him in the recruiting process. He's a very stoic, poised, competitive guy. He played multiple sports. He was really good at lacrosse. He does motocross and stuff, which he needs to do less of that obviously now. But yeah, that's just who he is. And so now the confidence is through the roof, and he had a great day today, and you can start to see that kind of swagger about him. I think during practice I saw him dancing at one point, so he's starting to get some swagger about himself.
When did you start feeling comfortable expanding his game range?
To me, it's just about the flow of the game too. At the end of the day, offensively, whatever's happening, if we feel like we got a great play for fourth down, then we're going to go there. I think at this point, we feel really good putting him out there up to really anywhere. Obviously up to his max, but yeah, we feel really confident no matter where the ball's at once we get on the plus side of the field. I don't want to say that.
In those situations, like those fourth down situations where decisions have to be made, it's all happening really quick. What's your role? Are you just waiting to get the nod of whether to send the tight ends out or the punt team out?
Yeah, Coach Dews will ask before the drive or as the drive gets going. I usually say hey, this is where we got to get to, depending on the wind and the conditions, how he was in pregame, all that kind of stuff. Luckily we've been really blessed, knock on wood, that the wind has been next to nothing in Acrisure, which is rare. But that's usually kind of how it goes throughout the course of the drive.
blunder on kick return from the other day, but what have your impressions been on kick and punt return so far through these 4 seasons?
I think it's been good. You know, I mean, you look at a stretch. You know, the first 3 games of the season, we have, I believe it was 5 punt returns of over 20 yards. You know, so we define an explosive punt return of 20 yards. So you have 1 per game there. You know, so like obviously you can't say that like they're doing a great job, and our players are doing a great job. They're doing a great job coming up meetings, seeing the tape, and executing. And it also plays into you're getting the kicks, you know, because that's the hard part in special teams navigating is, you know, sometimes you get pitches to hit, no different in baseball, and sometimes you don't. You know, like we can have a great plan, but also if that ball is not hit to where we kind of need it to be hit, like that plan kind of goes out the window. So we've been fortunate enough there to get those pitches. So I'm happy with our guys. There's some things to clean up for sure. You know, KOR especially, you got to be a little bit smarter, you know, returning balls that are outside of our target zone there. But, you know, I mean, it paid off there at the end of the game. Got a good return by Blue Hicks. So, yeah, I'm really happy with where those 2 units are at, and those guys are really doing a great job, all those guys.
How have your tight ends been as blockers so far this year?
I would say, you know, I think we've improved. You know, we're doing a much better job of staying connected on blocks. Like that was a big point of emphasis moving out of last season into this year, this off season of, you know, we had to be able to sink our hips, snap down, and roll our hips into contact. And so I think you're seeing that. You know, we're doing a better job being thick on the second level. I think that's probably where we've improved the most is blocking those linebackers, blocking safeties in the alley. Like we're actually staying connected on those blocks and straining, you know, which is always great because we got dynamic guys with the ball in their hand, and we want to do everything we can to give them a little bit extra space.
Are they pass blocking more this year than they did last year?
We have, yeah. We've been in there a little bit more, you know, in some full slide protection stuff. So they've all done a great job. And kudos to our defensive line, you know, all fall camp, all spring. Like, I mean, we know we get 9 techniques with our D line, and, you know, Jimmy Scott and Blaine Spires and, you know, those guys, like, they do a great job giving us looks all season long. And so, I mean, that's why you see it pay off during the season. Like, we're ready to roll because we've done it for, you know, 15, 30 practices, spring ball and fall camp.
Seems like Kenny Johnson's gotten more and more comfortable returning punts. When Dez does come back, is that just more of, hey, let's just keep him at running back, or do you think he'll come back and return some punts as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all kind of based on how Dez is doing, you know, and so from there, like, you know, we'll talk about that, but obviously with Big L and the offensive staff. I know we've talked about how aggressive we are with him, but obviously, you know, coming off an ankle, we got to do what's best for the team. You know, that's where Kenny Johnson, like, you always felt good about Kenny, you know, knowing that, I mean, Kenny's a dynamic guy too. You know, it's not as if there's this huge drop-off. Like, Kenny's a dynamic guy, and Kenny does a great job of fielding punts too that are out of that target range. So, I mean, I'm happy with both of them, and I think ultimately we're blessed to have 2 guys that you feel like can take it the distance anytime they're back there.
Last year, Eli didn't throw a touchdown to a tight end, and already through this year, I want to say it's 3 or 4.
3.
Is it 3? And so what's that been like for you, seeing them get more in the mix, get those touchdowns?
I mean, anytime as a coach you get to see your guys, you know, perform, you know, as hard as they work and the amount of time that we spend together. I mean, it's euphoric, you know. I mean, it's like, you know, seeing Josh Altman score a touchdown, like, you know, almost makes you cry a little bit, you know, just because he's a special dude. And same thing with Malachi. He's worked so dang hard. And so you get to see him do that. You know, next one up is Jake Overman. We kind of got a joke in the room that he's the last one to get in. You know, Max got tackled on the 2-yard line, so he's allergic to the end zone right now. So Max got to get that cleaned up. But no, I mean, it's awesome to see for those guys because of the work that they put in the run game and everything, you know, get rewarded.
In terms of hang time, distance, everything under the sun when it comes to punting, just how would you assess Junko so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think he had a great stretch, you know, and I know even, you know, I think last game it was a little bit of a down performance for him, and he would say that same thing too. You know, I think the biggest thing this year is his kick locations have been great. I mean, he's been painting sidelines, like everything's been outside the numbers. Now this last game, he left a couple towards the middle of the field, so he's got to clean that up. But I think he's improved a ton there, because last season, like, you look at his spray charts and stuff, it's close to the hash. And that's what led to us having such a high return percentage last year. So that was a big focal point going into this offseason, and he's cleaned that up. You know, and I'm excited. Had a great day today. You know, so I'm excited to see him to continue to progress there.
Should you start to connect on some of these kicks from further and further out, or they let you back things up a little bit, at least in games, to feel like they have a little bit more confidence and to go from deeper out?
Yeah, I think they do. I hit a few from deep today in practice, just in warm-ups, and so I think that's helping me gain trust, just them seeing me be able to execute on those longer kicks. So hopefully soon I'll get a chance in game.
What qualifies as deep?
For me, anything 55 and up that's like a deep kick in college football.
against West Virginia, you missed the early kick. I mean, just talk about your mindset, you experienced that miss, and then just, but going forward, you make the next couple.
So, I mean, obviously no one's happy to miss a kick in that type of game. The whole week we're talking about how we have to be perfect in everything because they're going to throw everything at us, right? So being able to respond from that, I think it helped my mindset going into these next few games. But in the moment, I was kind of just thinking, it's one kick, right? It's one kick. And Junko was helping me a lot with that, and Upa too. Just kind of taking my mind off of it, realizing that there's a lot of game to go, and that it might come down to me. So I couldn't be in a mindset, so I had to move on quick.
What have the nerves been like for you, maybe in that game, but just in general as a freshman coming in here kicking?
To be quite honest, there haven't been much. I thought I would be way more nervous, especially in that Duquesne game. You know, it was my first game in college. Thought the nerves would be high and I would be a lot more nervous than I was. But I like to think that I was able to kind of keep a cap on that and like maintain level throughout all the ups and downs that we faced.
What do you think made you not feel nervous?
I think it's just the fact that I've repped so many kicks in practice, and I've got so many kicks up with this operation that like it's kind of hard not to feel great about it when you see a perfect snap every day, see a perfect hold every day, and then I just know it comes down to me, and I'm confident in myself and my abilities, so it's pretty easy to go in there with confidence.
Was it challenging this last game when you had those 2 kicks that you had to redo because of penalties?
I know Coach Deuce said yesterday that it might have been a little tough for people, but I didn't see it like that. I saw it as, okay, I saw that one go in already, now I'll just hit a better ball this time. I didn't really see it as another opportunity to make a mistake. I just saw it as an opportunity to get better.
The good holds and the good snaps in practice, is that all translated to game day with that whole operation?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you look at Nico, he's a guy that throws laces every time, and to be quite frank, I don't think he's ever not thrown a perfect snapping game. And Junko, he's a grad senior, right? He's been holding for 5 years. Even though he hasn't been starting, I think he's been having game-like reps like throughout his 5 years. So for him to come in and give me those perfect holds, it's been a blessing, truly.
Is it like every game or even every like rep, it just gets more comfortable as far as not just the operation on the field, but getting ready to go, how you want to warm up before you go out for each kick, and all those sort of like little things?
Yeah, I mean, I know this isn't great to do, and we're kind of coached not to do this, but I would say my process for every kick isn't the same in terms of warming up and the mindset going into the kick, because every kick isn't the same. Some kicks you need to have them, some kicks they matter less, but I try to kind of just be where the moment is, and how do I say this? I try to like just do what the game needs of me. Like if they need me to go out there and kick, fine. If they need me to be on the sideline and wait and they go for it, but be ready in case they call a timeout, I'm ready for them there. But that's what I mean when I say like not every process is the same, because I mean you look at it, we go for it on 4th and 6, I think. And they get it. And on the sideline, the play before that, they were screaming field goal alert. So the kind of mindset going into that was that I was going to kick a field goal. And to be immediately told that I wasn't, everything's always changing. So not every kick can be the same, if you know what I mean.
Do you have a spot like on the field the offense gets to the, their own 37 or their own 40 where you start either go kicking into the net or something like where, as you're watching the game, when's that point where you're like, okay, I better get ready here?
I would say as long as they're across half field, I'm ready. Like me and Coach Bro kind of look at each other and we're like, be ready. But as far as kicking in the net, I don't really do that much. I find that it kind of affects my technique. So I do mostly like dry swings, kicking without the ball, kind of visualizing more. I think the mental aspect is way more strong than physical in this game, and especially in this position. So I kind of try to target that.
Coach Bronowski said you guys haven't had to deal with much wind yet in the stadium on game day. I mean, do you feel like, at least from the spring maybe or training camp, do you have a feel for what the conditions are like when it is blustery?
Yeah, 100%. And I think just talking to the older guys like Ben, I mean, we talked about it last time, how I have a good relationship with him. I think having those relationships and being able to ask them questions has also helped me get used to the wind in the stadium. And I know we kicked over there twice, I think, in fall camp, and both times the wind was pretty heavy. So I feel comfortable in that scenario.
As the season goes on, it's going to get colder here. Has anybody talked about like what you'll need to do during the game just to stay loose? So you know what I mean, to keep stretching.
We're just trying to stay in the moment right now. We haven't really talked about that much. I know it is a conversation we will have to have down the line, but up until this point, we haven't really talked about it.
You kind of had to play the role of coach for a little bit while Sean and Shadarian were in there, and you were on line a lot inside.
I think I play the same role every day, whether I'm on the field or off the field, because they like look up to me and I got a lot of knowledge that I can like instill into them, and I want them to be the best them, so I have to just be that person to do that.
What do you find that they need? Like, is it technical stuff? Is it how to manage being a football player? What do those guys like, need right now?
I just say everything because they're younger players. And they need experience, and the best way to get experience is to be out there playing, which they are doing. And then it's just life in general. Like they'll just just naturally figure stuff out on their own, or just ask questions and figure stuff out from other players that's been around and that have played.
What have you thought about their performances?
I think they played great. Even the last couple weeks, they did their job. They made plays, and that's all you can really ask for. Play hard too.
Getting back out on the field against Louisville, how do you think you played particularly?
I think I played a solid game. A couple plays I left out there I felt like I could have made, but man, that happens every game. That's what everybody. You can't win every play, but I think I played great, especially in run support.
You were in coverage on the one touchdown after the fumble punt. Just what did you see on that play?
Nothing really. It was certain coverage we was in, and I was just reading, and the receiver got on me fast, and they ran like play action to our side, and he broke across the middle. They just made a good play and called a great play against the call that we had. We just got to execute.
Is Kavir supposed to be playing a little bit higher on that play?
I mean, he could have, but I mean, it's still my man. I just gotta make a play on it.
You guys, a ton of, I think Louisville ran like 80 or 90 plays. West Virginia ran like 80 or 90 plays. We look at it from the outside, we're like, the defense is like getting worn down. What is it when you're actually in the mix? I forget how many snaps you played for, 75 snaps or something against Louisville.
80, yeah.
Right. That's a lot of running around, right? You get pretty, does fatigue set in?
I feel like that's what we get. We get paid to play defense. Like, we just got to go out there, make plays, make more plays, just try to outplay their defense because we can't really use just being tired or anything as an excuse. So we just got to go find a way to finish. And that's what we haven't did in the last couple of weeks is finish games. We got to just find a way to finish. That's been our emphasis in the offseason, just finish games.
You have a unique perspective that you've gotten to watch a whole game but also play in games. What have been your impressions on the secondary as a whole?
I feel like the secondary gets better every week. We haven't had our full secondary really the entire season because we probably played maybe 20 snaps together Duquesne game, which is not much at all, and it's been bits and pieces ever since. So, but I feel like the secondary is developing great. We need to make more plays. There's more plays to be made, but I think we're playing. I think we're playing good.
How do you feel like the communication has been, just game in and game out among the secondary?
I feel like it's getting better. It could be better, obviously. Just like anything else, it could be better. But I feel like communication's been there. At times it hasn't, which has hurt us a little bit. But that's why we play the games and that's why we practice to get better.
As a secondary, what are you guys expecting from Boston College?
They're gonna come and be balanced. It's a good team. They like what they like. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have their certain plays to attack certain players in the scheme, whether one run game or pass game, and we just got to be prepared.
As an older guy, how do you try to keep these young guys and everyone on the team kind of up and motivated and not let these last 2 losses get too much?
We try to keep them motivated just about letting them know it's a long season. We won a championship in 21. We lost 2 games in the regular season, so the season's not over. It was the first ACC game. We have 8 or 9 more to go, so it's still a long season and it's a lot of football to play. So, just telling them that.